All right, what is going on YouTube? Dylan here from Field Strength and Athletics, back in the garage. But we finally had a long-awaited edition of our opaque whiteboard. So you know what that means. Today we're going over programming. Not just any programming. Strongman off-season programming. Let's get to it. So today we're going to go over the things you need to be able to make your own off-season program. But before we get to the days of the week, what we're doing each day, we need to take account for certain factors when it comes to strongman programming. Number one, what event? What do I mean by that? What I mean is, what events do you need to work on? Is your overhead press up with competition standards? Cool. Let's work on something else and just kind of keep that where we need to. Doesn't mean we can't grow it, but we can keep it where it's at. We can focus on something else, like deadlift. Do we need our deadlift numbers up? Or are our deadlift numbers falling behind because we've worked so much on our overhead press? Cool. Let's focus on the deadlift in this off season. Factor number two we like to account for when making an off-season strongman program. It's called Strongman, not fast man, not athletic man, not mile running man, strong man. Make sure that your programming is to make you stronger than whatever these events are. And now for the third major thing that you want to consider when making your strongman off-season program is how many days. How many days a week can you consistently train? Not do you want to train. I've seen too many guys who are like, oh, I can do this 6 days a week. Then 2 weeks in, they're burnt out because they didn't allot their time correctly. If you can only consistently make it 3 or 4 days, program for 3 or 4 days. And if that, you have more time and you want to do more after that, cool, extra credit, here's some cookies. Great job. But make sure that you get to the bulk of your programming. All right, now that we've gone over the 3 major things you want to take into account when making your strongman off-season program, let's go ahead and put something together for you guys to take home that you can use for your strongman program. We are going to put together my program that I actually use right now in my off-season as an example. I can train 5 times a week regularly, 4 times minimum. So that's how we're going to design this. We're going to design this as well for my overhead press and deadlift decline, while my squat and bench press might not see as much growth with this. So that way I can focus on my deadlift and overhead press, which is what I need for my strongman competitions. Okay? We're going to go over the specific events when we get to it. So day 1 of 5, this is going to be our beginning of the training week. Hopefully you've just had a good carb meal at the end of the week. We're going to hit a competition deadlift, a competition overhead press, and a back movement. Okay? The competition deadlift is going to be whatever you're going to use in competition. Deadlift from the floor has been used a lot recently for max weights. I've recently done silver dollar deadlifts. Whatever it is in the competition, you will put that day 1. Same thing goes for your competition overhead press. This could be from anything, if it's in competition, a log press, or you might see a Viking press, or even a circus dumbbell press. But that circus dumbbell I'd probably push back later in the week anyways. Now the third exercise is back. On your main day, this will be something bigger, like a barbell row, chest supported rows, or pendlay rows, something like that. Okay, let's move on to day 2. Day 2 of 5. Yes, you did our deadlifts and overhead press, which is our focus of our training program. Now on this day, we're going to be doing our competition squat. So if your competition has a squat and a deadlift with it, oof, rough. This is where you put that in. You might see wagon wheel squats or stuff like that. After that, we will put in our bench. This is just to make sure that we're working in our horizontal axis, not just our vertical axis for our pressing. Just like we would do if we were running our bench decline, we would still hit overhead press later in the week. And then the last movement of the day is a carry. Now, since I'm focusing on my deadlift, here I will usually put a farmer's carry in so I can work on my grip strength. This can also be sandbag carries, stone carries, whatever you want to put in there and whatever implements you might actually have available. But farmers are pretty universal. Back to the squat real quick. If they do not have a competition squat, or in your competition they don't have anything coming up that is a squat, I would recommend using something like a transformer bar or maybe an SSB to take the pressure off your shoulder since you're going to be doing so much overhead press work during the week. Cool, let's move on to day 3. Day 3 of 5. Now this is when we start to make a big shift in how we do our exercises. The first 2 days of the week, you're wearing your belts, your straps, any gear that you have, just to make sure that you can lift your weights, okay? Now on day 3 and 4 is where you will take off belts, deadlift straps. That way it makes the weight feel a little bit lighter, or it makes it feel a little heavier in your hands, but we get just as much work done when it's a little bit lighter. So with this, we're going to do a deadlift variation, an overhead press variation, triceps, we'll go over that, and then a 4th exercise, which is an optional one, is a vertical pull. Think pull-ups or lat pull-down. So deadlift variation. One of my favorites, or some of my favorites that you do, is a fat bar deadlift, sticking with double overhand to work your grip, which is once again huge for strongman. Or what I'm doing right now is pause deadlifts. I cannot lift as much with a pause deadlift because it makes it harder, and I hate them vividly. Those are some good variations there. The next one is the overhead press variation. With this, I like to make sure, since I'm doing all this deadlifting and overhead press work, this one is going to be a supported variation. So a seated shoulder press, seated dumbbell press, something like that, so that way your back can stay nice and happy and you can still work your shoulders throughout the day. Tricep, this is a tricep overload. So slow, heavy skull crushers, 100 rep tricep presses, something that's going to make these completely kaput by the end of the workout. Vertical pull, once again, this is pull-ups, lat pull down, but once again, this one is a little bit more optional. Make these your priority. Get in, get out, move on to the next day. Day number 4 out of 5. This is one of my favorite days because it is usually the lighter days, but you're still doing a lot of really good work here. We're still taking off the gear. We are taking off the belts, the straps, unless you absolutely have to. If you have any questions about when to use straps appropriately, check out my video that we posted last week on when it is appropriate to use deadlift straps. Cool. Day 4, we have our first squat variation. This is something I like to do with bands or chains, something that's a little bit more speed work, maybe accommodating resistance, that will help out to take off some of the pressure. Overhead press variation number 2. Now going back to the circus dumbbell, this is a great day to do circus dumbbell. Since you're loading one side, then the other is not as intensive as, say, a barbell overhead press is. This is also a good day for seated shoulder press with the dumbbells as well, or a slight incline press to take some pressure off the shoulder. So if you want to do incline dumbbell press, this is a great day for it. And then, holy cow, deadlift variation number 2, our 3rd deadlift of the week. This one specifically, stiff leg deadlifts, RDLs, or tempo deadlifts. This is a great time to do that because those ones we can stay light, work on your speed, work on your lockout, or whatever it is that you need to work on in your deadlift. This is when it becomes very apparent that with this program, my focus is on my overhead press and my deadlift numbers to jump up, which is why by day 4, I've hit those 2 things 3 times and the squat only twice. And I'm making sure in the squat variation that I don't go so heavy that I cannot get to my deadlift variation, okay? So with this, we want to maybe implement some RPE, say RPE 8, 9, 7, 6.25, whatever. RPE pi, right? This is going to allow you to kind of get into your RPEs, play around with those, and make sure that you don't make yourself kaput in more than 2 weeks. All right, next day. Oh, sorry. You caught me on day number 5, event day. Day number 5 is event day. This is when you get to go play with those implements that you haven't touched all week that you're going, that looks kind of cool. Or, if you want to be a little bit more planned about it, if your event has stones, natural stones, Husafel stones, one of these odd objects, this is a great day to put it in. This is also a great day to add cardio. I know that almost sounds blasphemous to strongmen, I feel you. But cardio is still important in strongman. I'm not sure if you've ever done the medleys or the 1 minute AMRAPs. Now, my last competition had single fingers AMRAP for 1 minute. I felt like death for half an hour afterwards. Luckily, it took a while to get to the rest of the field. Otherwise, I would not have been able to get to that next event very well. Cardio is still important. One last note about event day. While they are important to make sure that you are confident with the implements, if by day 4 you are so exhausted because you've been working your tail off, this is a good day to take off. This is a good day to back off and maybe just do some light cardio or just go do some stretching, something active even, so like taking a hike is a good option here as well. You don't always have to pick up a barbell to be a good athlete. There's more out there. All right, guys, there you have it, your very own off-season strongman program given to you by me for free. How do you like that? Now, I know that it doesn't have all the numbers and percentages. That's for you to do. That's your challenge. Take the information we've gone through over your 5-day program, or if you want to switch it up, make it a 3-day. If you have a question on that, message me below on my email, fieldstrengthandathletics@gmail.com. I'll leave that down below. But you have the tools now to go make your own program. You don't have to go searching on the internet anymore. You have it. It's there. Boom. Put it into work. I'll make sure to leave a grid down below or an attachment so where you can see the work that we're doing, maybe in a cleaner spreadsheet, or I'll probably just pop that up on the screen right there. Pause it, write it down, do some work. All right, guys, go out, get strong, be awesome. I'll see you on the other side. Oh yeah, before I go, please give me a like, a little thumbs up, subscribe down below, please. That'll really help me out, thank you.